Where they at, though?
Cause the boss ain't the boss if he don't teach the game. And tell the youngest not to chase the fame. Give them other goals to aim and don't let them keep doing the same. Tell them the boss takes the blame on the shoulders of a sturdy frame.
What's going on? It's the Legit OGs podcast where we give you the game we wish we had. I'm BF and Krumah.
I'm Herm, the CEO.
And I'm cool.
And we are the Legit OGs. What's up, brothers? Man, how y'all feeling today, man?
Good.
Another day, another dollar.
Yo, we really was in the midst of a shootout, man. It's crazy. Yo, so
Crazy.
we want to talk about today, man. Like, young boys, a fascination with jail. Like, it become a badge of honor to say I did some time, or people looked up to somebody because he did 10 years, he did 15 years, and it seems like it's a part of like our manhood, like because you did some time, or you know what I'm saying, if you didn't do some time, folk look at you a different kind of way. And so we just wanted to just break that down, man, and see if we can redirect the mindset, because do you think it's a badge of honor to go to jail?
No, I don't think it's a badge of honor.
What about you, H?
Nah,
But I do
don't.
understand why they think it's a badge of honor.
All right, break it down to us.
I don't think it's a badge. I mean, look how we was
Glorified.
raised, man. Look how we was raised, man. We started off from nothing. Look at, you got the streets. The streets, we got our way, and then you got the other world. And then in the streets, these dudes grow. I used to think it was a badge of honor at one point in time too, so I grew up. Then,
So like, because we all done been there. But how do we end up glorifying stuff that really is nutty? Like, I'm saying, you telling me when I gotta turn my light out and all that, like, you know what I'm saying? That ain't cool.
Yeah, but it started out early. When I was a young boy, and everybody around the way was getting home passes, and I was the only one. They leaving. I'm like, damn, they all going back. I wanted to go back. I don't know why. I just wanted to go. I wanted to leave with my homies, but I don't know, man. I think they come home with the stories. They don't come home with the stories that the horror stories. They come home, oh yeah, we up there, we chilling, we having fun, we playing ball, you know, we busted it up. And you know, as kids, you just look like, oh dang, y'all still having fun up there, joint. I'm out here by myself. So when you see them when they come back, and they parents or their guardians be giving them gifts, like they get a pair of brand new sneaks, like dang, he come home, we get rewarded for this stuff and all that. And then also, you know, my household, my uncles, man, in the 80s, man, my grandma had pictures of them from jail, from the prisons. Like they was on Prime, they got the gazelles on. You know what I'm saying? The shit looking thorough. So when they come home, you like, damn, that's Big Unc right there. He come home, he tell you all the story. Oh, yeah, we did this. So I'm like, damn, man, I need one of them pictures. But you don't know. These the people you looking up to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You think, oh, he bad, he tough, but they not, like I said, they not telling you the horror story.
Yeah. Because it ain't nothing tough or bad about like, you could definitely, you know what I'm saying, you could bid, you know what I'm saying? We bid it, but as soon as that cell closed and you land there like, man, God. I mean, I didn't even want to dream about being outside. I wanted to dream about jail. That way I wake up in the same place I was dreaming.
But it's crazy because every time you talk to somebody on the phone, they like, yeah, this jail's for the birds. But everybody say all the real niggas in jail, or they did, but all the niggas in jail be like, man, I gotta get out of this joint, man, this shit stressful.
whoever came up with that theory that real niggas in jail or dead is a dickhead. Yeah. That don't even make sense.
What do that even mean?
I don't even know, man. I don't know what's worse, and I hate to change the subject.
No, you good.
I hate what's worse. Either all the real niggas is dead or in jail, or you got to vote because your ancestors died for the vote. I be like, man, what the fuck? What ancestors died for? What the fuck is you talking about? Who came up with this shit? But anyway,
I don't know.
Who came up with that theory? All the real niggas is dead or in jail?
Because it's like before you die or before you go to jail, you on the streets. So was I not real until I died? Or was I not real until I went to jail?
Can you imagine, you in there? Some of these guys in there forever.
Yeah.
Can you in there for the rest of your life? That's thorough. Like he's a failure. This dude's a failure. Yo.
I remember
I'm sorry.
when I sat back and they shut the door because I had a deferred sentence. So I walked in. I was mentally prepared. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this time, get it out the way." Soon as I got in there, you know, they make you take the little test and make sure you ain't got nothing so you can go on population and all that. Yeah. They put you in like a little holding cell. As soon as they shut the door, I said, damn, really in this joint. Yeah. Yo, it fucked me up. I said, yo, then I start counting. I'm like, oh, shit, man, it's this week. I'm like, oh, shit. That's when that shit really hit me. I'm like, oh, shit. And the boy like, yeah, 2 hours. You're going to be 2 hours in this cell. Then we're going to move you over to C block. And you're going to do another 3 hours over there. And then we're going to move you to a regular block. And I'm like, dang, y'all just telling me what I'm going to do. Sit your ass right here like I'm a kid. Yeah. So, yeah, I just feel as though, like, going in them joints, man, it's just different, man. It just take you to a whole different level. And a life like, man, this shit ain't for me. Yeah. And as soon as you go in that joint, that shit ain't for me. And my man, she always says, you know, she good, man. He said, man, you do 2 days, man. When you walk in and when you leave out. That other shit don't really mean nothing. Yeah. he said you got a long 2 days.
He always said it felt like a long, it ain't feel like no 2 days to me.
Yeah. Poop used to be in that joint with no cotton on. Like, Poop can't get no haircut.
Listen, no nothing, I ain't get no haircuts or nothing, man.
At all. Poop took his shahada in that joke.
My son thought I was on drugs. So I said, what's your drug? What's my drug? What? Yeah. I never ran into him because he came home. He came home before me, yeah. I never ran into him on the streets, man. I wanted to see him. Yeah, I mean, you thought I was on drugs. I wanted to pull up on him like, no, bro. I'm just in here. I want to go home. I ain't worried about getting cute in jail.
Yeah. The only thing is though, I can't say though, cause y'all know how I feel about this telling culture. Some guys though, when they don't tell, and you know shit like that, I do look at it and be like, damn, he might be a stand up dude, cause he's standing on his principles of what he doing. But then you got the fuck boys that don't honor.
Yeah,
that
but
shit,
that's right there. You support if you do the crime. You supposed to stand up for your own time.
But I know dudes that's in there that didn't do
No, we just like we was in the group test about Santana. He come home and say, yeah, I'm a stand up dude. I stood up and did my time. Nigga, you went through the airport with a gun. You by yourself. It wasn't his bag and they blocked him and said, who gun it is? You got locked up. So I hate when they do that too. Like, I stood up, I stood 10 times tall, I ain't telling nobody. Told who? How can you tell somebody? You got caught.
Your gun.
You walked into TSA with a gun.
Yeah, you right. You definitely right. I remember we was talking about that.
Yeah, we was talking about that because I hear dudes say that all the time, man. Yeah. I'm a stand-up boy because you did the crime. Nobody else was around you. Yeah. You a stand-up dude, man.
He proud of that shit, too.
But I definitely know some dudes who didn't do the crime and didn't tell. But even in that, it's like what's the glorify about somebody that's going to jail for somebody else? Like why is that even something to glorify? This dude is in jail
because we
still got a fascination with jail that we got to break.
Right, we mentally conditioned to that shit.
Yeah,
like, That's what it is. This is the world we grew up in, bro. Like this how it all started. This how we roll. Like this how we was born and raised. But here's the thing too, though, Poop. Remember I was telling you before about this shit with dads. Like a lot of us, man, we ain't no pops. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't. So a lot of things that I learned from watching dads on TV, Family Matters and the Cosby Show and shit like that. So now my kids, with my son, he's 16. It's different. Like I don't know. We got it. We was talking about on the last podcast, but my son not even allowed to get a nobody autograph, man, because you never asked me for mine. Sis, you never asked me for my motherfucking autograph, so you can't ask no celebrity for their autograph. You can't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Real rap. Like, and I stand firm on that shit. And my son understand it. My son understand. And I ain't one of them strict dads. I just give my son the game. Like, listen, you ain't no street dude. When you be on the internet, when I watch his Instagram, I'm logged on to his joint. All that worrying about who snitching and all that shit. You ain't never been a part of nothing, son. So what the fuck do you care? You not even supposed to speak on what's going on or shit that you need to speak on that football shit you do and that wrestling shit you do. Like I don't want to hear that shit, but that's part of the reason too, Poop, because we ain't never had no pops that like tell us like, no, homie, that ain't cool. Remember Herm, what I told you before about your son? You my man, but your son ain't my young boy. Mm-hmm. You Herm's son to me. Mm-hmm. Like that's it. My son ain't your young boy because I'm his dad. Mm-hmm. Your son is you his dad. So your son ain't got no old heads. Because my son don't.
And I just told my son that.
My son ain't got no motherfucking old heads.
I said, man, I'm your OJ.
Yeah, you ain't got no motherfucking old head. So you better not never call none of these dudes out here your old head. If a motherfucker see my son, Lil Cool, yo, that's my man Cool's son. That's it. Not that's my young boy. No, nigga, he ain't your motherfucking young boy, bro. That's my son. He don't got no stepdad, none of that shit.
What's the problem with the word young boy?
He just ain't my. He's just. I got him. This is my boy. Like we don't. I never. This so funny, man. We grow up, like I say, conditioned. Man, that's my little young boy. You like you sonning him. And a lot of us had old heads because we ain't never had no dads. So a lot of times we growing up, we saying, that's my old head. That's my old head. This is my old head because the motherfucker done showed us something. He done gave us some work. Or he the drug boy. He the dope boy on the block. He took a liking to us. But the thing is, man, I don't want my son being around a lot of these other men. Like you just gonna be around your father. Like now he play football. He got a football coach. That's his coach. But at the end of the day, that ain't his old head. Yo, that's my coach. That's coach. Whatever his name is. But as far as you saying no, and that's the mode I think, in my opinion, and a lot of people might not agree with me.
All the young boys get sent to the store.
Like don't you know my son not going to the store for no motherfucking body, bro.
Seriously.
Where I live at, it ain't no corner store, but my son ain't going to no motherfucking corner store for nobody.
All right, so what's a better word? So say I have a relationship with a. You know,
so when you see Cool, you just so like if my son fucking playing football on TV, like damn, that's my man Cool's son. That's Lil Cool right there. That's my young boy.
Or my nephew, like you always say. That's my nephew.
Yeah, like that's my homie's son. Like you know what I mean? Like like you know what I mean? Like your daughter. That's my man Pook's daughter. Like you know what I mean? The thing is too though, if I'm ever out and your daughter is in danger or anything, I'm stepping in because you my man. Same thing with you with your son. Like and I definitely know y'all gonna be the same way. Like you know what I mean? So I never that and it's funny because when you a young boy and you growing up and you constantly hear it, but when you get older and you have kids, and I don't never want my son to grow up like I grew up, man. I grew up in the projects. Like I don't never want my son to ever taste the life of the project. I don't want my son to ever pay rent. Ever. Nigga, you stay with me until you ready to buy. And then you go ahead and do your thing. But I want my boy to be and my daughters, like my daughters too, like, you know what I mean? I want their life to be so far different from mine.
Oh, for sure.
I try not to make mistakes, and I know I do every now and then, but when it comes to this parenting shit, nobody never taught me. I had to learn, and I'm still learning on the go. But there are things that I grew up doing that my son ain't going through that shit. He ain't doing all that. Ain't know that's my old head. Man, fuck all that. Miss me with that shit, yo.
So, all right, so now, right? So we got a podcast. The legit OGs.
Oh, real shit though, man. And more people need to think like that.
But what I'm saying is, so
that young boy joint was just heavy just now. Like I might stop calling.
Because a lot of times with these dudes, they like a lot of dudes they call me they old heads ain't got no pops. I'm showing them shit out here, and a lot of shit that I told them wasn't right. That's why now when I come around and sometimes I be getting on their nerve. Oh man, cool. They'll do some silly shit on the internet. I ain't got an Instagram, but everybody know I'm tuned in. But I see something and I say, yo, bro, you might want to take that down, or I hit them on the horn. Yo, meet me somewhere.
And I guess we all do that.
Yeah, we'll talk.
We always
but sometimes they
like
don't want to talk to me. They like, man, this nigga cool.
That's all of us, man.
You know what I mean, though? But
that, you know what it is? This showing respect to you for real.
Yeah, no doubt.
We had certain dudes on the block that we hustle. Hold, that's Mr. James. Hold up, put that up right there.
Yeah, that's how it was.
You just had a different respect for Mr. James because Mr. James, you see him leave work. Come home, he taking his kids, he taking the trash out, so you like you even telling smokers like chill, fall back for a second. Chill out.
Yeah, you ain't never lied. But
my man, not to cut you off, my man Joe Pop just said, he said, I never felt threatened. Actually, y'all was kind of like, I was safe with y'all coming home at night.
Knowing that.
Y'all was on the corner. He said, knowing y'all was on that corner, I felt safe. He said, man, I came home, I said, I was happy to see y'all on that corner. Because I knew I wasn't in harm. And nobody was going to run up on me, you know, going to my house, coming from work.
Yeah, I agree. I ain't going to lie. See, Pook, you ain't got no sons. So, like, sometimes it might be different when thinking like that. But I know one thing.
I'm just trying to understand.
A lot of dudes that got sons, when I tell them that, They never thought about it like that. And like I said, a lot of things that we don't know is because nobody never showed us the way. It's things now that I implement in my life every day, and it was hard getting through to Kia. Like Kia was not trying to hear it. But then when we out on vacation and we all these other different cultures, majority white people, we be listening to them talk. She be sitting there like, yo, you was telling me. And I'm like, I'm telling you, man. Like, it's a whole way of life out here that we don't know nothing about because we stuck in that hood. And we don't know what's going on out the hood. That's why a lot of times them white people don't want us in their neighborhoods because they don't want us to figure this shit out. Like, if we figure this shit out, man, we it's on. So I sit at my job, I listen to dudes talk. I'm in construction, so it's majority white boys. I be sitting there watching and listening like, yo, this shit is, whoa, like I'm gonna take that little idea, just like I know they take ideas from us. You know what I mean? But you be surprised how that life is on the other side over there. Listen, I'm getting a fire pit built in my backyard right now as we speak. I'm getting some pavers and all that, right? I'm listening to this girl the other day talk about a bonfire. I'm like, what the fuck is that? She was like, a fire pit, no. I'm like, oh shit. I didn't even, but I'm getting one built. But it's like, I didn't even know nothing, not to change the subject, but you would be surprised how much just the simple shit that's going on in everyday society out here that we don't know nothing about. We don't know nothing about this shit. And it's like, it's regular shit. And if our kids get a glimpse of a lot of this shit, man, it'll make their life a little bit more easier, man. That's why I tell my wife too, my son not by her, it's by somebody else, but we all live in the same house. My son lives with me. And I tell her sometimes when she be like, yo, man, you too hard on it. I'm like, oh, listen. I can't tell Nakaya how to put on a tampon or a pad. You can do that. So I'm not going to never get in your way. But when they come to this man shit, let me do me. Let me work. Let me work on my son. Because I know if anything happened to me today or tomorrow, he got to go back with his mom. No disrespect to his mom. If she ever see this shit, he going to be fucked. He gonna be fucked though, like, you know what I mean? And I be seeing a lot of these dudes being raised by their moms. No disrespect to you women. Please don't take it the wrong way. But you can't condition a little boy to be like his. You can't be a mom and condition your son to act anywhere near, shape, or form like you. It ain't gonna work. That shit not gonna work, bro. Seriously, man. It ain't. You gotta be a dude, a young boy, and only you gotta be a man and raise your motherfucking son the right way, the man way. But it's the little simple things though, man, that people don't understand when it come to our sons and shit like that. And a lot of time these women be thinking that you being too hard on him and all that. But it's like, yo, let me work on my son. Let me turn my son into a man so he can go out there and do the same thing to his kids. And he can
how do you find the balance? I don't have no son, but
right.
Just as a parent, since we just talking about parenting right now, like how do you find the balance, man, between not trying to, quench their whole life, but then also not trying to let them just do anything.
You gotta teach them a lesson. You gotta show them. You gotta teach them a lesson. You gotta show them the pros and the cons of everything. That's what I tell my son. I show him the pros and the cons. I tell him, like, yesterday was a shootout around the corner from the house, and I said, Dad, he like, Dad, did you hear the shootout? I'm like, no, I wasn't around, but I seen when I got to the block. I seen everything taped off, but I said I parked my truck there. So I said I could have got caught up in that shootout. So I'm like, that would be the cons of it. I said, well, you see me get up every morning, and I come in late. That's my pros. I'm trying to get us out of here. He's like, yo, I do see that. That's what I'm working with. That's my thing. You see, you heard what happened. And I've been hearing that from all my life. So I understand what's going on. Like I told him, like I said, man, I was in the streets. I said, the streets right now is not comfortable for nobody. No. Yeah. So I want to move. And hopefully you want to move. Because he actually said, he's like, I heard the gunshot. And he said, I don't think I ever heard gunshots before. Or I ain't paid no mind, but I knew there was gunshots yesterday. I said, yeah, you're getting older and you starting to recognize.
You prone to that.
You be prone to that. And I don't want you doing that.
Yeah.
And then going back to, I wanted to chime in about something when you said something about moving and all that. I was talking to my dad on the phone, and I'm already planning for my daughter. I'm like, yo, I want to send her to private school. My dad's like, yo, he's like, just move in the right neighborhood. The school system is just different. You ain't got to pay nothing. Just move in the right neighborhood. I was like, damn, you're right.
Yep, my kids get bused. In the school district where I live at, they bust the whole state. So everybody get bust. So my thing is, and it's better schools over there, man. People say when people get money, they run to, man, look, you got to do what's best for your family. You sometimes, man, before you start running around trying to preach for everybody else's kid, man, you got to make sure your motherfucking kid's cool. Because I ain't, no disrespect to nobody else's kids, but if Coolsy kids ain't right, I ain't got nothing to do with nobody else's kids until mine get right. When they right, and I know they going that way with the way they need to be going, but like I ain't perfect. My kids not perfect. Like they make mistakes for sure. But it's crazy because it be things with my son especially that when I be telling him shit, he don't be trying to hear. But then when it happen, he'll call, yo, Dad, Mommy, you said. I'm like, I told you, son. Like I'm not about to tell you no bullshit. Anything come out of my mouth to you is some serious shit. We not bullshitting around. I ain't got time to be playing, motherfucker. I'm overweight. I can check out anytime, motherfucker. I got to get all this information in your brain as much as I can before that shit over, before this clock stop. Like, you know what I'm saying, bro?
Dude, man.
Real rap though, poop. But like I said, nobody never, when we was little, it was first of all, when we was young, we was always just trying to move out the crib. We trying to get some money. We trying to figure it out. Like we was out here, come on, man, look at this shit. We was out here moving it. We was getting it. And we ain't had no guy. We was some young niggas with some paper. And we ain't had no guidance, no nothing. Like nobody was teaching us nothing. The only thing we was learning was how to turn that 1 into 2. That's what we was doing. We in the game, you call that shit cheating. We was cheating.
You was turning into 3.
Yeah, I was doing whatever I was doing. But I'm just saying.
Turn that work up.
But once, no lie, yo, I remember sitting in that motherfucking cell one day, man, and my lawyer telling me like, yo, on an official visit, she was telling me like, yo, man, you gotta do something different. They hate you down here. And they couldn't get me to say they ass. Like, but then they cheated, they threw the hooks in, they got me. They ain't sit me down that long, but 2 years, but they set me down. And no lie, with me sitting in there, I was thinking in my mind, I gotta make a move. But what I didn't do was I ain't tell nobody my plan. That's why when I see people on the gram and everything they do, they Instagram every fucking thing, they get a new office space, they throw it on the ground. I be like, yo, what the fuck is y'all doing? Make your move. Do what you do. Like, you don't gotta show everybody what you doing. That shit gonna crash and burn before, and you gonna make these people happy. People will purposely sabotage your shit because they see you doing it. But in my mind, I was sitting there thinking, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I ain't tell my wife, nobody. I'm just like, man, watch what the fuck I do when I get out there. And I got out there, and I made my move, man, and I ain't never stopped. Never stop. And these dudes kissing my ass, whoever fellas do, I left them behind. Look, it is what it is. But I got shit to do. Like, I'm not sitting around with you niggas because you ain't learned your lesson, man. I ain't got time for that, man. I'm on a whole new wave. I get off work, I go home. I get my daughter from school, my 4-year-old, get to the crib, get to them other kids, my 6-year-old, my other 14-year-old, and I do what I do. And we all living in my house. Like, it ain't none of that. Well, one of my daughters live with her mom, but we go 7 for 7. But she been in my house since April. Her mom been letting her rock out, and I respect her mom for letting that rock like that. Because a lot of these moms don't be trying to hear that shit. Like they only half the time they only want you see your kid. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother show. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, man, you gotta drill that shit in your son here. A lot of shit that we grew up thinking it was cool. We didn't have nobody telling us that it wasn't cool. We honored the drug dealers and the dope boys and all that shit, man. Like,
crazy. I did.
That's all we cared about.
My pop was there. He just was up top, and my mom was down South Philly. It was separated. But my pop used to drain that shit in my head.
That's what's up.
One day my pop from 31st and Norris, back North Philly.
You really from North, man?
No, I was down in South Philly. No.
From North, man. It's cool though.
That's crazy because we had me and my pop went back and forth about that. He's like, man, Herm, is the time, man, you gonna want to get out South Philly? I said, no, South Philly till I die, Pop.
Man,
and then when that time came, one time I said, Dad, you was right. I said, I know. Yeah. Just like that, I know. He said, because I was the same with 31st and North. Like, he said, man, half of them boys, I don't even be around. He said, I work so much. He said, I don't even got time to hang around them. Then when the dude go around, he's like, yo, the conversation not even the same no more. And I start peeping that. I'm like, damn, I really had a drug dealer relationship with this guy. We can't talk about nothing else. Yeah. I don't even want to be around. Like, dude, like, yo, man, why you don't come down? I was like, yo, bro, I ain't got time no more. I said, and I realized that I'm in the truck. Then when I got out the truck, my son, homework. My wife need her little time. Then I'm tired and I'm doing it all over again. So they be like, I don't see you on the block no more. That's one of the reasons why I changed my name. I'm running around Herm SP17. I'm like, yo, I'm ready to go to Lucky. He said Lucky's been closed, bro. We just now. He like, oh yeah, you can tell you ain't been out here. I'm like, damn, they shut Lucky's down?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, pull over, let me go get a bag of chips. He like, nah, bro, that shit been closed. I'm like, he like, yeah, bro, you done.
Our whole corner look different, man.
Yeah, so you know, you can't represent something that you ain't. You know, it was in the past. That name served its purpose.
Yeah, and it's a new breed of dudes.
It's a new breed.
So sometimes you gotta get out their way, and that's what I learned. I got some good young boys out there, but they doing what they doing.
Young boys.
Well, I'm saying, because a lot of them ain't got no dads. A lot of them ain't got no dads.
So back to the young boy thing, right? So I understand old head who teaching something that's wrong. But like I said, this podcast is legit OGs. That's who we are. That's who we want to be for the youngest who don't have a dad or somebody that's teaching them anything. We trying to get them the game that we never had. So is this wrong for them to be our young boys?
No, listen to me, bro. All I'm saying to you is this, bro. My son. See, if you get his son or if you want to do your son, that's fine. My son,
bro, I'm just asking you to explain it. Don't just.
I explained it to you. I explained it to you. You just not. No, I don't. Nobody. I don't want nobody calling my son his young boy. That's period.
If you're a legit OG, that's your student.
You ain't even a student. You just. That's my man. That's
my
dad homie.
You offering them game.
That's my dad's friend. That's it. That's that. That's how it is in the business household, man.
So you tell me the teacher just saying this is. Cool.
Your teacher in school, that's your teacher. That's your teacher. Like Mr. Whatever, my son's teacher, Mr. D, his vice principal, cool as shit. He already bought.
And that's his Mr. That's D. My student.
That's his student in school.
Yeah,
but
that's a student if you see him in the market.
But
if you see him in the market, he gonna say that's one of my students.
Hey yo, remember that. Come on,
you lost this one.
I ain't lose shit. Remember?
Wait. We still dealing with the parenting thing. Was your son alive anytime when you was locked up?
Yeah.
What kind of effect did that have on you being a parent locked up with your child out?
Man, it was one of the ones where in the beginning I ain't really think about it too much. I was too in the streets, so it was just one of the ones like I got to get home to my kid, but it wasn't really a priority. I'm gonna keep it 100. Like we can't lie.
No.
So it wasn't really like no real priority at one point in time. But I think, like I said, it's fucked up. But the last time was like the time where I was just like, yo. But don't get it twisted. My wife used to correspond with my son's mom, because my son was always getting in trouble. And another thing too, you already know his mom wouldn't let me see him for a while. I'm talking about for a few years. She wouldn't let me see him when we broke up, and I got a whole nother chick and all that, and it went left. But eventually she got tired of this is how smart my son is. She got tired of him, and I used to ask him like, yo, why when you with me you be chilling, but when you go home it's always an issue. Like I gotta keep whooping your ass. Like I don't understand, bro. He like, man, Dad, I just don't want to be there. So now when she do say, all right, man, look. Because I used to tell her like, yo, just give me my son. I'm gonna turn him into something that I'm telling you, I know it, I feel it. She finally sent him to me, and one day we just was talking. I'm like, yo, why all of a sudden, you done did this crazy change? Like, well, what's up, man? He said, man, Dad, I just knew if I'd be bad long enough, she was just gonna kick me out and send me to you. I say, man, this shit is crazy, man. Like, this dude is crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But he pulled it off. And he been with me ever since. Like, he pulled that shit off, man. But at first, like I said, it wasn't really like no real part. Even with my daughters, like, it wasn't really like no, because it was like a hammer case and, shit that I know I was going to beat. A little bit of drugs. I got caught with all this money and they just turned into drugs and the money and the drugs. I'm like, man, I'm going to beat this shit. So it was one of the ones I couldn't wait to get back out there. But I think the last time, it was just like, and it was like some things that my so-called friends was doing that I wasn't feeling. And I'm like, it's like before I'm sitting for a few months here, a couple months, I got a detainer. They giving me a gazillion-dollar bill because my wife then went down there and paid all these bills and shit. And they trying to figure out, they want to sit me the fuck down for like, oh, this dude just keep paying. I'm like, and then once I'm sitting in there, like I said, I'm talking to my attorney and she telling me what she telling me. I'm like, yo, man, I gotta get the fuck back out here, man. My kids, man, this shit crazy. It was just like a light just clicked, and it was just like, what is you doing? Like, you, fuck you. I don't know no 60-year-old or 50-year-old, even 40-plus-year-old drug dealers out here killing the game right now. I don't know too many. I mean, there's some dudes that did their thing, but I don't know too many. Like, you know what I mean? They might be out here, but cool.
And that was always one of my things, man. When I see older dudes that's like 40 or in their 30s when I was a young boy, and they still out there nickel and diming. They was, I remember my man Luck had a bar on one of his raps. He said, "Y'all the poster child of what not to be." And I used to look at some of them dudes. I was like, man, ain't no way I'm never gonna be out here on somebody's corner at 35 or 40 years old.
They still out there though. Them niggas still out
Back
there.
to that question that you.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah, my son, I ain't get to see my son come out in that whole year. And then he came and see me behind glass. When I did leave, he wasn't walking. When he came to see me, he was running around behind the glass. I'm like, what the fuck? It messed me up. When I was in there, I realized every month there's something going on. It's either a barbecue, it's either somebody's birthday. Every time I call, I'm like, damn, I don't remember all this shit going on. It's all these holidays. Every other week is a holiday. Or every other month is a holiday. Or every month is a holiday. I'm like, what the fuck? Yo, I was like, I can't come back to this joint, man. It's old for me, man. I'm done, man, with this joint, man.
I don't never remember all those joints, man.
Everybody having fun. I'm like,
man. Then they gave us ice cream and sausages over the F.
Oh man, on the 4th of July. Oh my God, man, that shit crazy.
I ain't gonna talk about when I came over there. Cause when I came down from Johnstown, I was down there for 2 weeks. So Sunday come, I mean it was Saturday. So the boy was like, yeah, wait till the chicken come out, bro. You gonna like the chicken. So they hyping this shit up. So I'm like, all right. I'm hungry the motherfucker. This chicken better be good. Man, they brought this chicken, man. This chicken was about this big. I said, y'all hype about this. I said, bro, you can have that shit, bro. Shit was crispy.
Yeah.
No skin on it. I said, nah, man, this shit is fucking bad, man.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
And where I was at, they was feeding you good, so I was a little bougie. I was like, oh, no, fuck this. I gotta get out of here. And that's when I realized, I said, man, dudes always say, man, I gotta get back to my jail. I was like, yo, I start talking like that shit. I was like, oh, this shit ain't for me, man, bro.
Yo, man, you really get conditioned. Cause I remember when I got let go from court. Normally they take you back to CFC before they release you.
Yeah.
For some reason they let me go from court. But my first thought was, damn, why they ain't take me back to the block one last time? I had to damn near smack myself. Like, you want to go back to jail? I said, damn, they done conditioned the hell out of me in this job. Like, damn, man, I wanted to, you know what I'm saying, go back and say bye to dudes I was tight with.
We just go in survival mode. We was always taught to go in survival mode. So once you in somewhere, even locked up in the cage, you just adapt.
Yeah,
you got to.
That's all you just adapt, man.
And
I was working in the kitchen, and I was like, yo, I started counting. I'm like, yo, these days going by quick. Yeah. I'm like, I got to go to work for them at 6 to 6, and that's another day down. Yeah. And it's like them days was going by, but for real, I could have been on the block. You know what I'm saying? For real.
I ain't gonna lie to another thing too though, Poop. My daughter, my 4-year-old, I ain't gonna lie, when she was born, that was like my first kid that I ever seen come out. Like I'm always ripping and running with my other kids. Like, you know what I mean? My son, I was locked up when he was born, but I was only locked up for about a couple months when he first was born. But like my other daughter, I fell asleep. I didn't like when my wife's mom was calling me. We weren't married yet, but I was like fucking fell back to sleep. Got there, she was born. Like, you know, I ain't gonna, like it was just always with something. So like with Nyla, it was like I watched her come out, like, and I was just like fucking amazing. That shit was just like, it did something to me. I don't know what it was. And my daughter is like I can't even take a shit in peace. Like this little girl always in my business. She's a daddy. I'm talking about she's over the top. And it's cool and I love it, but sometimes it gets annoying because like I gotta go to the bathroom. Then you can't come in here with me, like, you know what I mean? But it's like if when I wake up, I mean when I leave out for work some mornings and she don't go, because I usually take her to my sister before I go to work, so my sister take her to school. She'll be going crazy. Like, where's my dad? Why my dad? Where? Like she is vicious. But I think that too kind of like settled me. And that was like the first time I had a kid and I was more settled. I was more relaxed and more chill and more of a hands-on pop. Like, you know what I mean? Even though I'm hands-on now, but that was like the first kid when she was like from the time she was a baby till now, it was like I'm right here. Even though my other daughter that's 14 now, me and kid was still together all those years, but I was so much into the streets. It was just like I couldn't sit down. Like it was crazy, man. I remember one day, man, my wife told me, this was a couple weeks ago, she was like, my daughters was talking to her, was like, yo, man, my dad really is smart. And I'm like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Coming from my daughter. But, you know, you can impress any kid a lot of times with being smart. But just me hearing that from my daughter, that kind of like made my day, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I mean, and I tell my kids too, man, it's the little things sometimes that y'all do that makes me excited. It makes my day, man. When I hear my daughter say that shit, man, like, I was just like damn, like, and I'm always schooling them to something. Like, it's never a time when we sitting around talking about rap or anything. Like, I let them know that shit is fake. I'm like, yo, like, them guys are civilians. They getting paid to act like that. Like, it's nothing real about these dudes, man. Like, there's nothing. Like, and like I said, man, if a lot of times, man, with parenting, because you can have the parents, but if your kids, like I said last week, if your kids is more impressed by what they doing, what them rappers and shit doing, or what the athletes is doing and all that shit, man, if they more impressed by them than you failed as a parent. No disrespect to the ones who, you know what I mean? I'm telling you, if your fucking son faint because he see LeBron, or if your son fucking threw rap. When I was watching them little kids fainting when they seen Michael Jackson and all that shit.
They was grown fainting for Michael Jackson.
Man, hold. We was at a Jay-Z show and it was a dude right next to us. He was like, Jay-Z, Freeway did the song. Jay-Z bust out the crowd, boy. Said, I knew he was going through. He started crying and everything.
That's
off.
crazy, man. I feel
I turned around and said, oh,
like I knew Jay-Z was going to come.
Yeah, that shit, that'd have been my son, man. I'd have went the fuck off, man.
I don't think I heard the version. I was laughing so much. I'm like, yo, I know he didn't just cry about no damn Jay-Z coming out of the joint.
Yo, man, we was in that joint cracking up.
But I do think sometimes, man, they got to be impressed by you. And if they not, and it ain't always material shit though. You know what I'm saying? It's just they can just be impressed by just how you move and how you is, your knowledge, your wisdom, like helping them with their fucking homework. Like, damn, every time my dad helped me with my homework, I get 100 or I pass. Like, you know what I mean? So it ain't always financial shit. Like, you know what I mean? But I notice with my son when I'm going to his football games, he don't play good when I'm there. I gotta sneak in there and just act like I ain't there for him to have a good game. Cause he always watching me like he thinking he gonna make a mistake and I'm trying to like critique him on the football field. No, son, you smaller than him, so I'm trying to show him like you gotta be quicker. Like you don't have to be stronger than like, and it's like he always is looking on the sideline and just worrying about what I'm doing. So now I just sit back and I just act like I ain't even there because he gets nervous a lot, and that ain't always good either. Like, you know what I mean? Where your kids ain't comfortable to be they self. Yo, sometimes, man, no lie, yo, he know it already, so I know he gonna watch this podcast. Sometimes, man, when he talking to his friends, I go sit in front of his door and just listen, cause I be curious to see like, how you mingling with your friends and all that when I'm not around, so I can critique that too. Like, no, son, you don't like, no, like, you know what I mean? He be cursing and all that with his friends and all that, and that ain't really a big deal to me. I don't like it, but I don't really like spaz out on him over that. But it's certain things he be talking about with his friends, and I be like, no, son, like, you do it this way or you do it that way. And then sometimes he be like, yo, I was thinking that, or he'll just think that I'm like, no, Dad, I don't know, Dad. You older, Dad. You don't know. Like he always swear I don't know nothing about the drip, but I be having to show him my closet. Like, yo, son, like, look at my shit, man. Like, my shit is crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the fuck what you think with me, but.
We got about 15 more minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. But but that you know what I mean. I ain't mean to shift it all about my boy, but I'm just saying.
It's all good. You're a proud father.
Dad, proud dad. I got to be, man, because I ain't had no pop. My pop never taught me nothing, and I got his last name and that. And it's funny because I love my last name, and I got that nigga last name. Yo, when he died, man, my sister called me, man. I was at work. I'm like, what the fuck are you calling me for? Like,
and you got Michael Bivens' last name.
Yeah, nigga, I got my last name. Michael Bivens got my last name. Even though he older than me, I got my last name. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying.
Funny, man.
And I really ain't give a fuck about my pop, honestly. I never disrespected him because he ain't never really come around that much. And when he did, he was living with my sister. I was older. I was out there moving around, so we ain't really had too much. I remember one time I asked him, like, yo, man, why you just leave us like that, man? Like, and then when he said what he said, like, yo, man, I was just so used to not being there, and I just was like, what? Like, I couldn't believe that he said that. I'm like, cause look, it's funny, right? Because I start going through it with my baby mom, my first baby mom, with my kids. So I kind of understood, like, where she take the kids and you running around trying to see your kids and she calling the cops. You like, damn, bitch, you calling the cops? Like, fuck is you doing? I just want to see my kids. Are you serious? Cause they hurt that you done moved on with a whole nother situation and you get hurt sometimes. But you got some dudes that just run from their families. Like, you got a lot of suckers out there. So anyway, one day I'm sitting around in my sister's crib, me and my pop. It was weird that he never raised me, but a lot of shit that he was into, like Western movies and all these them weird ass movies that I like, he like it. So he was sitting on my sister's couch one day, and I'm sitting there with him, and we watching the movie, and that's when I asked him. And at first I was like, damn, like, all right, I see. I remember my mom, like, cussing him out and doing all this shit. But then I just was like, yo, but look, I ain't never called him dad. I'm like, yo, sport. But, like, so why you ain't come back after she died? Like, she died when I was a teen. I was 14. I said, why you ain't never come back? Like, why you? Like, man, I just was so used to not being there for you. I'm like, man, you was a sucker. I just got up and walked out. That's the last conversation I had with him. And then, like, years later, he died. And I was just like, do we got a flat screen? Because, like, one of my TVs broke in my house. Like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I really didn't care. Like, honestly, didn't care. And sometimes I be saying, like, man, I really be blaming that dude. Like, man, if my mom died, if you would have just said, yo, come on, son. Like, because I always wanted a pop. I wanted that dad. Like, I always wanted that shit. Like, literally, like people was talking about their dads. I'm like, I ain't got a motherfucking thing to say about mine. Nothing. Like, I didn't really get to understand. Didn't know too much more about him until I got older, and then I'm starting to. But I would never, ever, ever be that dude. Ever.
But guess what? Your son got a lot to say about you.
Motherfucking right. You better say something. Damn, man. It's my man too.
You better ask for your autograph one day
he
too.
better. He still ain't asked me yet though, man. But, he never asked me for it though.
I ain't never heard nobody think about something like that.
I know. Yeah, I know.
He better not faint.
To that
He
seven,
better not faint.
Yeah, faint. Man, these dudes is
Smack him and wake him right up, huh?
Yo, my son can't even do this. Sucking his teeth. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I don't think no man play that.
Yeah, like that shit be weird. He be, I catch him sometimes.
Yeah, you
man,
can't.
come on.
No.
I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
you like, oh, my bad, dad. Like, yo, don't fucking do that, man. But don't get it twisted. We be having fun though. We got our fun times. But like I said, a lot of times, man, it's teachable moments, man. Like teachable moments, man. When you heard that whole verse riding down the street with me, in my mind, I think you should have knew what the fuck he was talking about. But you didn't, and you know, hopefully
Did he even listen? Do we even listen to it?
he don't listen to him. But we broke the verse down, and it was just like, you still don't get what he meant. He like, no, like now he get it now, but a lot of people, grown ups didn't even know. But that's their problem. That's on their dads. Like, I mean, I'm talking
You
about
talking
my
about the
son.
Christopher Wallace?
Yeah. About the whole Nina. I mean, about the Santa Maria. Like, and he just didn't know what the fuck he was
I
talking
ain't
about.
gonna lie, I had totally forgot until you said Nina
It's cool.
the Santa
Yeah.
Maria.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about Columbus enough.
Right, that was the point of the whole verse. He said,
Yeah.
"I only Christopher, you mean we acknowledge his Wallace. I don't like Washington's in my pocket, like you mean." So he basically is on some anti-American shit, basically, like you mean. The BPS oil spill, whatever. We talk about that. We ain't giving a whole no. Edit that shit out, like. I'm just saying, like I mean, he know now though. So
What's the
it is
closing?
what it is.
Just that.
What's the closing?
What's the closing? Come on.
I'm trying to get to the bottom.
You try to get a sip of that Bacardi. Yeah, man, dope, man. A lot of gems, man. But just want the youngest just to know, man, that jail ain't cool, man. Definitely, you know, when you got kids, man. Like you see, I always wanted a dad, but if you got kids and then you go to jail, your kids is going to have a dad, but you ain't, but you not dead. Because the number one thing a man got to do is be there for his family. That's from the rip. None of this other stuff that. The street stuff, this gangster stuff, this jail stuff, man, none of that stuff matter for your manhood. The number one thing a man got to do is be there for his family. And if you're putting yourself in a position where you're not there for your family, you think going to jail make you a man? That don't make you no man. If your son out here what was the line on South Central? He was like, Ray Ray got your son out there.
He was hot.
Still a radio. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now you booked and somebody treating your son crazy.
Calling him his young boy.
Calling him his young boy. Got him selling drugs or whatever. Or you booked and now your daughter out and old heads are taking advantage of your daughter. Like it's a whole lot to it. It's no badge of honor to do no time. I know we done talked about we've been through it, but that ain't nothing I never glorify. I don't glorify how I went to jail. It's easy to go to jail.
Yeah, just
it's hard to get out.
Just walk outside.
It's easy to go in.
It's easy to go to jail. It don't take no talent. It don't take no skill. It don't take no planning. You can do that. Yeah. You can go get 10 years right now if you want.
And you know what's so crazy, right? Because when you in that joint and if they don't know you and they treat you a certain way, you be looking like, nigga, I wouldn't even speak to you on the streets. Like, who the fuck? Like,
and that's what I was gonna say. Like, with our kids, as a man, you don't want another man telling you what to do. Like, yo, get over there. Like, yo,
turn around, squat, grab your balls, squat. Like,
as a man.
Yo, I remember, no lie, not to be talking about no jail story. I remember one time, man, I was coming back from a visit, and this dude tried to get me to. I'm like, bro, I ain't doing that shit, bro. I don't know you. Boy was like, what? He called all these guards in there. The boy, they come in there, they like, oh man, that's Bivens, man. Go ahead, put your. I'm like, yeah, man, tell your man, get the fuck out. I ain't with that shit, man. Like that, you got to knock me upside my head. I remember I did it at when I first ever went to jail. A young bull, nervous, thinking all these guards gonna kick my ass. But then when I got older, like I was just like, man, they don't never ask me to do that shit, bro. I ain't doing it. But they ask other people to do it, and some dudes do it. Like some dudes be holding conversations with them while they getting naked. Man, I'm my baby mine. That was my wife. Whatever. I'm like, fucking weirdos, man. Like, that shit. Hey, yo, this is my last story, man, for the night. But listen, I remember years ago, man, I was in a program. They had me in this fucking drug program. I never used drugs a day in my fucking life. Like, never. Never experimented it. None of that shit. But anyway, I remember I was in a drug program. I kept getting dirty ones, and we all know why I was getting dirty ones. But anyway, I was in this program, right? And we all had to sit in this circle, and we was talking about anger, right? And this dude was talking about how one time he lashed out on this girl and he slapped her over because they only had one cigarette left and she didn't go down to the store and there was one cigarette and he slapped her because it was like, why would you smoke the last cigarette? And I'm sitting across from this dude like, first of all, he thought my Gucci sneakers was S. Dot Carter's. This one, S. Dot Carter's was he disrespected the shit out of me. I'm like, he was like, damn, what's the new S. Dots? I'm like, no, man, you don't see the Gucci emblem. But it was cool. But anyway, this the same dude that was like, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, damn, like this the niggas that I'm like, this nigga, like I got this, I'm around. I would never do no shit like smack. I don't even smoke cigarettes. So I'm like, these are the dudes that I got to fucking be around this fuck shit. Like I got to be around this guy. Like I'm around this dude in a program, and then it was just the weirdest shit. And then I just started thinking about the jail, and I'm like I be in jail with these. When you locked up, you're around these weird ass dudes. You would never have a conversation with these woman beaters, rapists, all kinds of shit that you wouldn't even align yourself with. But you in a cell with these dudes, or you eating a chi-chi. You don't know what half these guys done did, and you eating a chi-chi with them, and you showing them your kids' pictures. Who's to say he ain't gonna steal one, go in the back, beat his dick off your little? You know what I'm saying? Like, you around the scum of the scum when you in jail. You around these dudes all day, every day. And I never forget that day. I'm like, yo, this shit, I can't do this shit no more. Like, it was just like, it was crazy. But I wound up catching the case again, which was the last case I caught for some shit I ain't had nothing to do with. Witness intimidation shit, some bullshit that set me down. But I still remember that day, like, man, I ain't going. This shit is like, but this is the shit that you got to go through when you in jail. They align you with a bunch of guys that you wouldn't even have a 3-minute conversation with, man. 3 minutes. And I swear to God, y'all, that last time in that joint, that shit, when I say my eyes open, yo, I'm gonna tell you this one more thing. This old head boy used to always tell me when we was in the jail. That's why I asked you your names and all that, because old head used to always say, man, when somebody come around you and you don't know them, young boy, just ask them what they name. I never
call you young boy?
Yeah, I ain't had no pop. I ain't had no pop. Like, real rap. When you ain't got no pop, like, I ain't had no pop. I was a lot of niggas young boys. There's a lot of old heads. A couple. I ain't never called too many guys old head, but the few guys that I called old head, I ain't no dad. My pop was dead, and I had to tell them niggas, yo, I ain't your young boy. My pop, that's my old head. Like, I mean, just stop calling me. Just call me cool. Like, real rap, though. But I never forget. He saying that shit to me. That shit used to stick to me. Like, and I always, and people be thinking I be trying to be funny. I'm like, yo, what's your name again? Because you always should just know who you talking to. Know who you are and know who you talking to. That's what old head always told me. Like, and I'm just like, I always, from that day, every time I go somewhere, if I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, hey, what's your name? What's your name again? Like, because I know who I am. I just know who I'm talking to. But at that time he told me, I ain't know who the fuck I was, really. I just was some dope boy from the city moving around. But then I started to figure out who I was and all that. That's why I asked people, like, yo, what's your name? Like, what's your name? Like, that's why I asked y'all names, man. Hopefully y'all learn that. Start asking people their names too. Like, you know what I mean? Real rap.
Y'all last words, Herm?
Nah.
I'm wrapped out, man. Last week, man, we couldn't shut this boy Herm up. You know what I mean? But
All right, man. So that's it for the Legit OGs podcast, episode 2. Prison is not a badge of honor. See y'all next week.